Check out carmarshal.com. The link is in the description. They help support us.
Seattle police say the city is a little safer tonight after it became the first in the state to force a man to surrender his gun, all because of a new law. KOMO's Joel Marino is live in Belltown to explain how extreme risk protection orders can potentially save lives. Joel?
Mary, neighbors say a man had been intimidating people right out here for the past year, even staring down customers through storefront windows with a gun holstered on his side. Now, mental illness is suspected, but that new law gave police the legal authority to disarm him.
He was roaming the hallways with a 25 caliber automatic, and it created a lot of fear, obviously, because I didn't know if he was coming after me or if he was going to just start shooting the place up.
It wasn't just in this apartment complex that Seattle police say a man was stirring fears. The man, who we're not naming, is well known to the bars and restaurants below his unit. The complaints convinced Seattle police to seek an extreme risk protection order, or ERPO, which allows them to legally remove guns from people deemed a danger to themselves or others. In this case, the man refused to comply, but because of the new law, police then showed up with a warrant and forced the man to surrender the firearm.
This is a perfect case in point where it's had some efficacy, if you will, as far as there was an immediate crisis and law enforcement was able to remove his firearms. So very well could have saved lives.
Well, a few dozen ERPOs have been served and executed throughout the state, but Seattle police say they are the only agency so far to seize a gun because the owner refused to hand it over. Morgan?
All right, Joel breaking it down. Thanks. And police say these specialized orders could be a way to try and prevent mass shootings, such as what happened in Parkland, Florida.
Prior to this, we had no legal standing if they called us up 2 months later, a week later, 6 months later, and said, I would like my firearm back. We had no legal standing to hold on to it.
The confiscations only last 1 year, however, they can be renewed. Washington's not the only state using these extreme risk protection orders. California, Oregon, and Indiana all have similar laws. And in Texas, a person can't have a gun under certain conditions, such as a psychiatric disorder or pleading not guilty by reason of insanity. Now, the NRA has previously spoken out against the laws, saying they, quote, strip the accused of their Second Amendment rights.
A K2 crime alert in Wilson.
It begins. Seattle cops conduct Nazi-style gun confiscations, no laws broken, no charges, no arrests. Using a new law, Seattle police raided a man's home and confiscated his guns with zero due process for entirely legal behavior. By Matt Agarist, March 6, 2018. We now have to go to someone's house and knock on the door and say, we're from the government. Can we have your guns? Seattle Police Sergeant Eric Piskinski. Seattle, Washington. In the wake of the Florida shooting, politicians, police, and activists alike are scrambling to find ways to prevent the next tragic attack. Without hesitation, last week, notorious gun grabber Senator Dianne Feinstein sat next to Donald Trump's and likely salivated over his remarks as he called for the removal of due process and to take the guns first. However, this practice of taking guns without due process is already underway in the land of the free. Citing Nicholas Cruz as the reason for advocating the removal of due process, the anti-gun activists in D.C. are claiming he should have had his guns taken, which would have prevented the tragedy. Sadly, however, they are ignoring the fact that he was accused of multiple felonies and should have never been able to purchase a gun in the first place, but law enforcement failed to act on any of it. In Florida, if a person making death threats intends for the victim to fear for her safety, specifically fearful of death or bodily harm, it is considered a credible threat under the law, which changes the crime from stalking, a first-degree misdemeanor, to aggravated stalking, a felony of the third degree. Cruz was reported at least 4 times for this very crime before he bought his AR-15 and police did nothing. There is a law on the books known as the Extreme Risk Protection Order, or ERPO, which went into effect in June of 2017. This law is used when a person is considered an extreme threat as reported by police and family members. An ERPO must be approved by a judge, and only after this person is proven to be a danger to themselves or others can police move in to confiscate their weapons. We now have to go to someone's house and knock on the door and say, "We're from the government. Can we have your guns?" Piskinski told Kiro Radio's Dave Ross. That can get very dangerous. While touted as a necessary tool for police, an ERPO removes due process, as the person who is accused of being mentally unstable does not have to be present and gets no chance of facing their accuser. Last week in Seattle, a man was petitioned for an ERPO and his case is proving everything wrong with the law. The man has yet to be identified. However, he has become the first public victim of the removal of due process and a police raid to initiate gun confiscation. According to police, the ERPO stemmed from a neighbor reporting the man for staring at them through a window. The man was also accused of open carrying a holstered pistol. Staring is most certainly not illegal. Also, it is entirely legal to open carry a pistol in Belltown. This man had not made any threats to anyone. However, his entirely legal behavior was considered a threat, so police confiscated his guns. He was roaming the hallways with a .25 caliber automatic, one of the man's neighbors, Tony Montana, told Kiro News as an apparent reason to justify the ERPO. Clearly showing his ignorance, Montana attempted to assert that the man's handgun was automatic. Yet still, police took this man's word alone as a reason to remove another man's due process and take his guns. Naturally, the man did not want to be disarmed, so he refused to give police his guns. That prompted police to escalate the situation. "We attempted multiple times to get the individual to fulfill that order of turning over their firearms," Piskinski said. "And he refused multiple times. We were forced, at that point, to take the next step in the ERPO law, which is petitioning for a search warrant to go in and enter their home and remove the firearms from them. Had this man resisted with force, rest assured that he would have been killed. His life would have been taken by police and he never committed a crime." Piskinski told Kiro that they are walking a fine line because they don't want to criminalize mental health. However, they aren't criminalizing mental health at all, as the victim was never even given a mental health evaluation and police took his guns because people feared his entirely legal behavior. To those who may be in favor of such laws, consider the following: there is no way to stop an estranged spouse from call police repeatedly and telling them their ex is threatening to cause harm to others. This man simply open carried a pistol and looked out of windows and his guns were taken. Anyone, anytime, now has the ability to claim someone else is a threat and have police take their guns. One does not need to delve into the multiple what-if scenarios to see what sort of ominous implications arise from such a practice. What's more, police now have the power to deem you a threat at any time and legally disarm you. Due process be damned. To those that support the removal of due process under the ostensible notion that it would make you safer, you would do well to remember history before you or someone you know finds yourself subject to an ERPO.
County, this is Charlotte County Cop Watch, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is, as you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I have just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago, and so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheep up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Sheriff County Cop Watch with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me and I'm sick of it, so I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if some, if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. just think if each one of you subscribers just gave a, let's say, actually, yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. That would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But, you know, do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where, you know, at least I can do it. You know, 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt free. So this is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it, and each of you gave $1, and that was every month, oh my God, yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea too that we have is, you know, if I got, you know, some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here, and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. You know, 47,000 of you so far right now. You know, $1 a day. I mean, $1 a month on Patreon, or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head. Help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.